You may see it yourself too, but I find that people don't work together as a team as much as they used to.
Well,
it's kind of, you notice it on like that last scene, everyone yelling over each other. Like, we never ever had that issue. People would be talking over each other on radio and that sort of thing. They'd just sort of listen to what needed to be done, and they'd speak when they had to, you know.
yeah, not wrong.
Like that to me, I got on shift 2 once, and that sounded like I was in shift 2 again.
You are absolutely not wrong. Unfortunately, I do think it's the consequence of sort of the shaking or unsettling of a foundation that had previously been built. Um, where, I mean, truthfully, you know, during the UPD restructure, for example, I specifically made sure that I took a back seat and didn't try to take lead on every situation. Why? Uh, because quite frankly, I've pretty much been in just about every position possible, and I didn't necessarily think I had to prove myself, and I felt that other people needed that opportunity, especially so that there wouldn't be an excuse for people to be like, "Well, I never had the opportunity. So and so would always take lead of a scene," right?
Yep.
In saying that, I think some people have taken lead on scenes, or sometimes there's even a lack of that happening. And you consistently see this anytime you see Snow jump on a scene and he's like, "Who's lead?" And no one speaks up. Like, that's very frustrating. Or in my situation earlier today, when I was pursuing a completely spiked Sultan Classic occupied twice with one other unit, and when I called for 78s, there was no response. And the reality here is, although we had quite a few units on that call, I should have received a response to my 78 call, but there was nobody. Nobody willing to get into a car, nobody willing to even get into the direction in which I was, until it was a matter of getting me to triage. I watched as the person took someone out of the vehicle from the driver's seat that I shot down. Like, I got shot down alongside one other. They took him out of the driver's seat, put him in the passenger seat, fixed the fully disabled car, left, waited 5 minutes before anyone was next to me. And here's the thing, I wasn't very far. I was not very far at all from where units were. And maybe there were vehicles disabled, resulting in people not being able to respond. But even though there were 78s in the other area, when I had called 78s, I don't remember hearing anyone being en route. I understand another 78 popped off right after that, but we need to start consolidating shit. We need to start, you know, taking targets out one by one and not trying to split in a million different directions and allow people to one by one take off the smaller groups that we've created.
Yes.
But it genuinely, it bothered me that no one showed up to my 78 call. I made sure I had my panic button ready. I made sure to call for 78s and indicate my location. I did all of that. I shot one of them down, and I got pushed by one of them because my vehicle was out and nobody came.
Yeah, I'd just got on duty when that happened. I'd literally just got in the boat because McQuillan was getting shot at from the yacht. So I was with Sky out on the water.
But you're not wrong.
Two people in the car.
Here's the thing, Davenport. It doesn't matter if you are LSPD. It doesn't matter if you are SASP. Your presence in Shift 3 is all that's required for you to be able to shape and form the, you know, the department and the norm of Shift 3 into what it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I spoke to Libby and Doc mainly just because I didn't want them to think that I'm just dipping because I got a better offer or I got this or whatever, you know. I don't want to see LSPD thrive. That makes sense.
Well, I'll say this: it may be bittersweet, but I would also take into consideration that as rough as it is that you may be leaving, it's not like you're gone. You're here just about every day, right? In addition to that, consider this.
There's no EMS, so we're gonna
I
have to
feel a lot of
transport
complaints from departments, and I experienced this when I was in high command, stems from people feeling as though they've
have anyone
plateaued
documented
and have
the
no
vehicle?
room for progress, right?
Yeah.
If you are transferring, that does open up an additional spot. And in saying that, when people do see that people are being promoted, and I'm not saying this is sort of being done, you know, artificially to seem like, oh, hey, we have room for progression. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, there are some additional upsides that, you know, you may not have considered. A spot opening up for progression for people is massive, especially in regards to
Hey, Dark.
Good morning, Minerva. How are you?
I am good. How you doing? I just
Yeah, not too bad.
arrived.
You just what? You just gonna do it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just parked my bike. I'm running upstairs to get it.
Sorry.
I don't apologize.
The reason I'm calling is because Trevor, what's your plan with Trevor?
Oh yeah, I have to ride with him. I might do that if he's around. Oh yeah, he is around. I might hop in with him. Since we have interviews like later on. It's like 2 hours before storm, so I might do that before.
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Yep.
So Trevor was a transfer from San Fierro or something, somewhere up north from us. So I guess he's a transfer, right? But he's been put as a cadet because obviously he hasn't been a cop here before. That being said, I'm putting the option to you because obviously you're shift 1 P&T, and you've already got cadets. So what I'm saying is, when we do this evaluation for if he's good for LSPD, do you also want to do it as a final evaluation to see if he's like good enough to be promoted? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do?
Okay, so what I would say, I would like to keep him not long as a cadet because of the experience, but maybe keep him maybe for a week or so just to see how well he fits in after he's been brought in, if he's brought in. And then after said week, if everything's going well, we can like
you just follow me,
group up with him again and kind of do like an evaluation. And if he does well and there's no concerns, then maybe move him up.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I just wanted to make sure you weren't feeling like overloaded or nothing like that.
Yeah, no, just in case there's like any concerns that we kind of maybe miss or something, like at the beginning, and then I think giving that week of, you know, if there is major concerns, they would probably show up in that week.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, well, I'm gonna go on a quick picnic, but after that, if you're riding with him, I'll tag along. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if he's. I think he's alone right now, so I'll probably hop in his car.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I gotta go, but I'll speak to you in a bit. All right.
Yeah. Fun new picnic.
Come on, we gotta go.
Okay. Bye bye.
I have been dragging.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Now you know how it feels like to do anything with you.
Well, you know, fair enough. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. But I'm not high command anymore. It's different.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. All right. Well, good talk, Jack. Whatever. Well, I think you've decided, but you know, I wish you the best in whatever you want to do.
Yep. I appreciate everything you've done.
Of course. Oh, I'm gonna get changed. Listen, anything you need, Dan, just let us know. Oh, hi. Oh my God.
Hello.
I need to save this outfit. God damn it. Get rid of this pilot uniform.
Going a little picnic date?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go meet up with Nova, I think.
Oh, okay. It's a good break from work.
Can you put like a metal plate under your shirt just in case she gets the stabby vibes?
Yeah. Yeah, I can do.
Thank you. Don't want to.
Wait, the trainer guy, did he get kidnapped?
What?
Trainer,
oh
I just saw that through.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
Oh no.
Oh my God. All right, I'll catch you in a bit. I'm here. I was getting changed. I'm gonna go to a picnic in a suit.
She would understand.
Oh.
I'm even
You
getting
look so
changed.
comfy.
In a uniform, Matt. What the hell?
Well, yeah, I'm on my lunch break. She
Yeah.
would understand.
All right, where we going?
The dog park.
Okay. Do you know what happened last night with Prada?
No, what happened?
Oh.
So I've only just heard it secondhand from Snow and a little bit from the chief. Give me a second. Okay. So apparently there was a Jaden Bain got suspended. So just like when I suspended him, he started a protest in Legion Square. This time against the San Andreas State Police. So he was doing that. There was quite a large crowd of about 20 people. Quinn informed Brian. Brian was then there. I guess UC. And while that happened, Jaden got stabbed. And then pretty soon after, there was a 911 call saying that Predator just stabbed Jaden. So, I think, yeah, Pred was there. He was detained, frisked, and found with a knife that didn't seem to have been used. But then he also had a firearm that didn't belong to him on his person. So he was placed under arrest for criminal possession, in which they did a full search of his person and found some drugs on his person as well, some cocaine. I can't remember what the rest of the stuff was. I think there was an FN57 as well. But that was okay at the time, because basically he was released eventually pending charges, because he was employed as DOC. So he got hired as DOC like the day after he quit. Which has been an issue a few times because he's come into Mission Row a few times and keeps saying that he's restocking for his DLC job, but I don't know whether that's completely true.
Hey, I have a question. Does Vingle have a role in any of this?
Vingle? I don't know. I mean, he did say he was going to burn my house down.
He told me that you had fired or suspended him indefinitely or permanently.
Yes.
Okay, and he was rolling around Mission Row PD today. I got a call from Fahrenheit saying that he was mad he couldn't get his 5.7, so he's rolling around with a scar.
That he was. I saw it myself.
Yes. Well, I didn't see it, and he
How
said
did
it
he
was
go
all a
on
joke.
duty
And he was.
How did he get there? I should have suspended him, Matt.
I don't know. I don't know. Was it on him when he went into the ICU?
No, that was specifically the problem. It was the day Pred quit, and then Vingle came in and says, "I hate you, Doc. I hate you. I quit too." And then 3 minutes later, he was walking down the corridor with a scar, and he was pointing it down the corridor. So he then was locked himself in the changing room, and then we sent Pred in to negotiate, and eventually Vingle came out without the scar, and we found it dismantled in a bag in the room. So he was trying to sneak it out in a bag. So then I suspended him and told him to get out. I took his keys, and he was handcuffed at the time, and he wouldn't let me unhandcuff him. So there was a bit of a liability there. So I had to tackle him to the ground to get him unhandcuffed, in which he hit his head and he went to the ICU. But he's still suspended.
Well, I told him he needs to speak to you because you suspended him.
Yep. He did say he was going to burn our house down, by the way.
He would never.
Oh, the reason he was suspended in the first place was because he set fire to the American flag, and then was very, very insubordinate. So
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
he said. I think he said something like, "Why does it even matter? It wasn't the." He pretty much said it wasn't your flag. I wasn't gonna
I'm
argue.
a dual citizen. That is my flag.
Well, I wasn't gonna argue.
Happy 5th
You
of
know.
July. Happy
4th of July.
Happy
honey.
Dependence Day.
Yay.
Huh?
America.
Oh god.
Colonia.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Sorry, this took
Hi.
so long.
Alex, what happened?
My wife happened.
Let me check this one.
Romantic balloon accident.
Honey.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, I just wanna pitch you
missing
something that I
my
already
man
pitched
at
to Vivian Gray.
Go
But I
on.
want you to hear about it as well, since it's gonna be a cool concept if it's gonna be allowed completely.
Okay.
So I am talking with Barry Benson's mother, and I might be getting a golf caddy or a golf cart. The idea about that is to do parking meter made and parking violations, and actually just
Ooh.
community outreach.
That's a good idea, Bobby. I like that.
So
Okay.
I might be buying the golf cart pretty soon. I'm on top of the list.
How much?
I have no idea yet. I will let you know, but I don't care about the price. It's gonna be a cool concept, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy for that to go ahead. So yeah, I'll say preliminary yes. I am at a picnic, so I do have to go. But we'll catch up and we'll kind of flesh this out together, okay?
Okay, perfect. I'll let you know as soon as I have it, and as soon as I can park it in the shared pool.
Thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
So, at least now you can go, not my problem.
True.
Mhm.
It's not mine. It's my husband's.
No, you can.
Oh
I
gosh.
was just gonna.
You're
Come a
fine.
little closer.
I tried, and then we chat.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about I just get in
Hold on.
a little more, maybe?
That's
that
fine.
worked.
That's fine.
That worked. Okay. All right. So,
I like
I
the
have-
flannel
I
rich
have
here. It looks
pizza.
nice.
I have
We've got
some
food.
El Demin. I'm gonna say demon.
Demonio.
That one. I got some Dragos, and I got the Sorolina for you, Edda.
Yay.
Let me go ahead and give you that.
Hey, sorry, I'm in a meeting right now. Is it important?
You did not just call
Yeah,
this a meeting.
I can call you back.
She did.
I did because I valued it.
We're having a
Nearly-
picnic.
Then he said something
Well, a
spicy.
picnic and meeting, it's the same thing.
I
It means
nearly
that-
said something spicy already.
Okay, fair enough. Richard, would you like the demon or the Drago?
Which one's the margarita? None of them? I don't like
They were-
toppings on my pizza.
Okay.
What?
So like
What?
no.
Margarita's really good pizza. Not gonna lie.
Thank you, Alex.
So that's what about a steak
No.
sandwich?
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
There you are. There's plenty of pizza for everyone. Y'all sure you don't want any?
I'll take some pizza.
I'll take
Okay.
one.
All right. What kind? Drago? Demon?
I'm not fussy.
You're not
Demon.
Demon,
I'll try demon. Married
There
to
you
one.
are. Oh my god.
Okay, honey, let's calm that down.
Grab it.
There's one for each of you there.
Sorry, Alex, I didn't catch it. What happened to you?
There were hot air balloons yesterday, and my wife thought, hey, let's go up like super fucking high where it's super fucking cold, and the engine failed, and we crashed, and apparently I
Oh
blew up.
no.
Oh dear.
Did you grab my
I was in
pizza?
there as well.
It's
No, I
over
didn't.
here.
Oh.
Here we are.
Thank you.
No problem. And Nova, I will this a little closer to you.
Thank you.
There you are.
Alrighty, so how are things?
How are things? Oh, they're going. You know, stuff happened even today that I'm not necessarily happy with, but you know, I will address and hopefully make sure doesn't happen again. You know, sort of the normal day-to-day stuff.
I'm sure you were made aware of Pred yesterday.
I barely knew up until very recently.
Oh, okay, because yesterday was horrific. Wow.
What happened?
From which side?
Wow.
Which side of things?
The cops.
Oh, jeez.
It was so Jaden organized a peaceful protest that was outside the Legion Square Bank. Nobody had weapons. Nobody was causing a ruckus. Somebody came and you know, at the very end, while it was still peaceful, stabbed Jaden and ran. Right. Apparently, Brian Knight was undercover in the crowd and literally said on the stand, "I witnessed the person who stabbed. I saw the person who stabbed Jaden." And then Suarez went up and said he did not receive the information that Pred was innocent, even though everyone told him, apart from Brian Knight, who clearly knew that he wasn't involved, right?
Okay.
Then Pred was detained. Everyone else who was still on scene, screaming that they weren't him, were treated differently. They only had the hands checked for blood. Meanwhile, Pred was dragged away, frisked multiple times, searched, requested a lawyer, did not even get his lawyer. They didn't even put a request out for a lawyer, and then they released him, pending docket charges for possessions. How fucking wild! It was so absurd yesterday that I told Pred he's got to go to bench. The treatment he received yesterday was criminal. It was fucking bad. Like, even the judge said, you know, he said the police acted in good faith, fair enough, but you know, the argument's still there that A, Pred wasn't given a lawyer, and B, they had the evidence that he was clearly not involved in the crime in any way, shape, or form. Pred, it's fully well known to Brian and everyone else in the PD that Pred goes on tangents about troopers. That's Pred.
Right.
That's an opinion. Right? That doesn't mean that he stabbed him. And just to even tarnish him in that light, that he would do something when he was the ex-sheriff, it just goes to show, like, the treatment that is given. Because why wasn't every other single person detained and frisked and searched, right? Could have been any single person in that crowd, but they had the information. They had the information to say Pred was not involved. And they chose not to give it. They chose to target him. It's blatant. Disgusting. I know if you were on the scene.
They had reason to believe that Pred was the suspect.
You see, that's different from what we've been told.
Right, but you know, civilians don't necessarily get all the information, right?
Yeah, but a cop witnessed it.
Cop witnessed what?
A cop witnessed the person who stabbed Jaden.
Great.
He literally said it on the stand. I witnessed him get stabbed by a female with orange hair. Is Pred a female with orange hair?
No.
Was he detained immediately after the stabbing?
As far as I'm aware, that's what was testified. Yeah.
So you're telling me? Yeah, Okay, I don't think it would be fair for me to say I don't have a horse in this race because obviously I am close with Pred. You're saying an officer witnessed a female with orange hair stab Jaden, and then what do you think the general time frame is before Pred was detained?
I'm not 100% sure. It would have been a few minutes, I'm guessing.
Which officer was it?
Brian Knight.
Okay. And where was Knight at the time that...
Undercover in the crowd.
Okay. Is it reasonable to believe that an undercover officer didn't have a radio?
Is it also reasonable to believe that he could easily slip away and give the relevant information to what's needed so someone doesn't get targeted? Yes.
Sure, but it's an active scene. These kind of things happen. You know that.
I wouldn't say it's an active scene when the guy's gone and minutes have passed by.
I mean,
there was ample time for communication to be had that he wasn't the person.
Okay.
I'm gonna strongly say that's the case.
From what I was hearing, this was pretty close to tsunami, no? So there wasn't exactly a lot of time here. People were under pressure.
I mean, fair, but at the same time, if you know who isn't involved, who actually stabbed the person, and that person wasn't the person who stabbed him.
No, I would agree with you. I think Brian, by the sounds of it, I guess the other officers on scene didn't get the communication from Brian that it wasn't Pred. But then the other officers, if they didn't have that communication and they had reasons to believe Pred was the one who did it, then they were treating Pred just like everybody else. Like how I would treat Pred if I was on that scene.
Okay, but
so
counterpoint to that, at what point are we obligated to inform other officers? Like if we see people being detained for a crime that we 100% know that they did not commit, undercover or not, do we just sit there and allow every person to be unnecessarily frisked? Is that not a general waste of resources?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, 100%.
So here's another counterpoint, right? So I personally feel like Suarez was okay doing what he did, right? Because he didn't have the relevant information. But as soon as Brian went on that stand and said, I know Pred didn't do it, in pretty much those words, not those words exactly, but he identified the person who did it, that Pred should have been released. Question, sure. Not frisked and searched. Especially if his hands weren't bloody. Because then it makes no sense. And then the fact that he requested a lawyer and they took him to PD after the storm and didn't even get him a lawyer and just released him. It doesn't matter if you're going to ask them a question or not. If they request a lawyer, you have to get him a lawyer.
Yeah,
He's been detained and brought back to Mission Row. It is his legal right to receive representation. And they did not do that for him. It's a breach of his rights. And I fucking don't blame him. I would pursue this. This was bad. And I don't blame anyone in particular for it, but that's just the treatment that he's had. That's the treatment that both me and Pred have had since we left. Scorn and fucking everything.
I don't think it's ideal. That's for damn sure.
Look at the fact when I left. I left on my own terms, on good terms, my own business. I left and did legal things and minded my own business. Didn't cause a problem for anybody. I have the same problem that I highlighted in the PD still happening of people apparently having people wanting to know my opinions and what I'm doing and everything, like Bass asking my wife why I left rather than speaking to me for some strange reason. I have Madison berating
my integrity,
which is fucking bang out of order.
Wait. Bass questioned your integrity?
Madison.
No, Madison. Bass questioned my wife on why I left the PD rather than speaking to me directly, right? This is a fucking problem. people don't approach people and people don't have conversations. It's wild. It's wild to think that, hey, this is an issue. Can I talk to you? Or what was your issue? I would gladly sit down and have a conversation with anybody. But this shit is just too much. And then, like I say, all the issues that I brought up about, you know, me bringing issues up and constantly being ignored, constantly being sideswiped, the fucking bonus issue with Shelby, the constant, you know, back talking, having to watch over my back, thinking I'm doing the right job. It just the treatment that I received at the court case for Cap. The reason why I didn't testify was quite blatantly obvious. Why? Because people were gonna die.
How did that turn out, by the way? I'm unaware.
Not guilty.
Well, I asked. He got not guilty. I asked the prosecution to have a pre-trial hearing to explain my concerns to the judge, to which they instead motioned to have a summary judgment instead. They completely ignored my request as the primary witness. They completely ignored my request as a primary witness and were prepared to throw me to the wolves. And my wife and my kids. Do you think that's fair?
Who was it?
Would have been Nakoda and whoever was on that case.
Nakoda mainly.
I don't see Nakoda doing something out of malicious intent. I think that might have been miscommunication.
I understand both sides of it, because I have been in the position where, like, a witness is like, nope, I'm not testifying anymore, and you're like, okay, what about all this fucking shit? However, motioning for summary judgments when it could have easily been resolved beforehand, it just turned into a shit show where, you know, judge had to figure out what to do with it. We were all there. We knew she was coming. It's just shit. It was just very shittily handled.
And when I explained it to the judge, I went to Cross beforehand. I explained the situation to him. I received advice on what I should do. I tried to exhaust every means possible to not appear at court, but they just wanted me not to appear. So I'll take a charge.
Can you have, like, got a deposition sorted or something like that?
It wouldn't have been as simple as that, because a deposition.
You're still going to court. Is that what you mean?
They know that she testified.
Right. Okay.
The point is that all these issues I bring up, right, and the treatment that I still continue to receive, and now my wife, simply for just existing, having done nothing at all to warrant this targeting and these silly comments from people. I don't owe anybody anything. I've had every single gang and thingy call me and praise me to the moon and say that now they can do whatever the fuck they want. They literally have no fear anymore. I don't need to worry about a fucking thing. It was my neck that was on the line every fucking single day, going in these fucking gang areas and fucking bringing in fucking every single gang. I took the heat for most of it.
And
what's the appreciation I get?
I know I'm gonna get flack or with this not, because Nova left, Nova's doing this, yada yada yada. You're married to her, but I do not appreciate it when my fucking integrity gets questioned directly or indirectly. When I have done nothing but work for this shit, I've always tried to help everyone, and I'm severely fucking pissed off right now.
I have always maintained this. I was very clear with Alex when I made this decision, in the fact that whatever I do with me has nothing to do with her and nothing to do with us. She has no knowledge, no affiliation, no connection. No, she gets told nothing about what I do.
To hear from a sergeant basically telling me I am gonna believe rumors and assumptions and speculations over actually talking to people, I think that's...
Who said that?
Fucked. Madison. It started off as a personal conversation, but the implications that were being made there were fucked.
People are entitled to their opinion. But like I said, I don't have to prove anything to anybody or do anything for anyone. If this is the treatment I'm gonna get, then holy fuck. I mean, I don't really know what to say.
Nova, you threatened to stab 2 police officers.
I did.
Are we
You're
forgetting
100%
that, or?
correct. No, I did, and I'm still heavily considering whether to follow up on that or not.
So the treatment that you're being given, based on, if they're basing it off of that fact, I think is heavily warranted.
Okay.
You can't expect to threaten police officers and threaten people's co-workers and then to be okay with you.
But everyone else is okay with how I get treated.
Which is what?
Which is, as I said.
Right, but this is after the fact.
After the fact of what?
Of you threatening police officers.
Okay.
Well,
So
can we clarify? Was this before or after the threatening?
Of what sort? As soon as I found out the bonus thing, that's when I said it.
Okay, and when you said that, was that before or after all of these other situations had occurred?
What other situation?
You know, you being treated differently, stuff like that.
Well, that's just happened ever since I was in the PD. That's okay. Just clear. Well, my threats to Toretti were...
conversation.
Yeah, Toretti texted me.
Oh.
Toretti texted me yesterday. Bearing in mind, he's not texted me for 2 months. Did you stab somebody today?
What was it, after the Jaden thing?
I'm guessing so.
Were you there?
I was there.
Did an officer check you?
Yes. Quinn did.
And there we go. There's no issue.
But it's an example of somebody who doesn't talk to me and treats me like I'm a fucking idiot. You know? Don't get me wrong, I have the highest respect for some members of the PD. I do. But other people, the way they treat me, the way they've treated me for the past year, I couldn't give 2 fucks about. Why should I? What have they ever done for me?
I don't think you should. I don't think you should care about them.
Like, every single issue I've raised, people seem to think this is me, right? When the reality is, the points that I bring up affect every single person. Why doesn't Bass come and talk to me? Why does he speak to my wife? Why when someone raises an issue do they get ignored? Why do people get treated differently? These are all valid concerns. And while you're not going to live in a perfect world, some things just are bang out of order. So some things should never have happened, like $1.5 million bonuses. It's absolutely absurd. If I was any other detective and I was finding that out, and I'd done shitloads of work on serial assaults and killings, like, I don't know, Lucy DeMont, Minerva,
Hayes.
all those people who work their asses off, and they get valued a certain sense, I'd certainly feel like, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
I agree. No, I completely agree. I'll be honest, I was in the dog. I didn't know she got paid that much.
So it just goes to show that I can clearly prove that conversations do happen about or have happened about me behind my back that have painted me in a bad light, and these are just the examples of it, right? And I'm not saying it's from you guys, but I'm saying from a unified police department, it's disgusting.
I already
I'm
told. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I already told Libby and Nige, but I'm gonna run for judge next election. And if people can't fucking separate all the work I do from assumptions that they hear about a person, considering that they're all friends with many a kind of people in the city, but it's just mind-blowing.
Truthfully, I think I don't
to
think
me.
that's going to be much an issue, and I'll tell you why. Reggie Might, of all people,
I know,
did it. And although people were concerned at the beginning, myself included, rightfully so, I think everyone can sort of acknowledge and agree that despite our differences, despite everyone's assumption of how Reggie would be, I don't think Reggie turned out to be the person everyone thought he would be as a judge.
Oh, not at all. I think what the issue for me is, though, especially because I am usually more quieter, I just do my job and let my work speak for me kind of person. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks to do all this work and people literally saying, I don't want to be associated with that or with you, based on assumptions. Literally said based on assumptions or rumors or speculations.
Which were what?
Speculation about her?
About Nova?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did you want about Maddie here? What did Maddie say?
It started off as a personal conversation, but it basically then went on about, Alex, it's nothing against you, I just cannot associate myself with anything like that, even if it is only speculation.
Was it specifically, was this referring to the stabbing of...
No clue.
Did this happen after the stabbing, portion? Well, if I'm being honest with you, if I'm being completely unbiased here, I don't think it is unreasonable, and I know you may disagree with me, you may not like me after this conversation. I don't think it is unreasonable for someone to say that I'm just going to say it, sitting alongside someone who has actively threatened to stab cops.
I'm going to have to agree.
Here's the thing. I think...
Oh God, I don't have to say the obvious anymore? Holy shit.
You should be judged based on your actions and your actions alone, right? But for the same reason we charge people as an accessory when they're present for a crime, right? It typically, is some involvement. It's... Or for example, let's say harboring a fugitive, right? They've done nothing but been in the presence of them, sort of had them along their side. That's sort of still problematic. But here's the thing, I'm not going to judge you for Nova's actions, but it becomes problematic when you two are with each other frequently, right? Because in the event where, let's say, Nova did do this, I now have to sit here and question, is she going to be with Nova when this happens? Are they going to be in the same vehicle? I don't know those. I don't know the answers to that.
You really think I would do something with my wife in the car?
I don't, but I'm trying to exaggerate the circumstances here so that maybe there's an understanding.
I understand that from people that don't really know me, right? Madison knows me very well. Madison's my sergeant, and she knows me very well.
I'm just gonna say you're painting me out like I'm a monster. Let me tell you. Hang on a minute. Let me finish. Not just you. I'm not just saying you. But the way I'm being painted is I'm a fucking monster. And let me tell you, I have been offered to do some crazy shit. I have received offers to do really crazy shit. And I have decided not to do that. But let me tell you, if this continues, I will jump at that opportunity.
So there you're doubling down. I don't get mad and threaten to harm people. I don't get that mad. And now you're doubling down saying if I'm continued to be treated bad, I am going to hurt somebody. So why the fuck should we even care?
I'm not saying that.
You literally just said it.
I didn't say I was going to hurt people. I said
you just
jobs.
alluded to bad shit. Okay, so
bad shit.
But do you not hear yourself, Nova? Like, you literally threatened to stab people.
Yes, I did.
And now you're surprised Pikachu because people don't want to associate with you.
Here's the thing.
I mean, I don't really care whether they want to associate with me or not with the way I got treated.
Well, clearly.
But here's the thing. Nova, if everything you had just told me occurred in a world in which you didn't threaten to stab 2 officers, I would 100% be on your side. No questions
I don't want people on my side.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I don't really care at this point. I don't need people on my side anymore.
Right, but
this is the reality.
That is not the argument at hand. I'm telling you where I would be. I don't care whether or not you think I should be along your side. That's not the topic of conversation. I'm telling you that if you hadn't threatened to stab 2 officers over whatever the situation was, right, and any of these things occurred, you are 100% in the right. But I think it is unfair, and again, I'm not in your position, I think it is unfair to say that assumptions made about you are sort of, contributing to this whole image of, well, the PD has done me wrong and nobody listens to me, and they paint me out to be the bad person. It's hard to unpaint you as a bad person. For some people, not me, right? I know you. It's hard for people to sort of paint over the image of, well, they threatened to stab 2 officers. They really have changed, right? Like, it's... I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, as I say, you apparently it's just over quote-unquote money.
You came to me livid yesterday about the money. So, yeah, and you sat there and you're resentful because you, quote-unquote, were the PD's biggest earner. So don't sit there and say that the money isn't part of the problem.
The money is part of the problem. You
okay, so, correct. But at the same time, I still can't get past the point that you're upset, and so immediately you want to start threatening to stab people. Like, that's not something rash. And Shelby, who is only doing her fucking job, Nova. Which, I mean, cops complain all the time about getting hurt for just doing their job. But you're no better than any other criminal on the street as far as I'm concerned. I'm actually appalled that you would threaten officers.
I would. When I do it again.
That you were literally on the same side with for, what, months,
I wouldn't
years?
consider myself on the same side as Dominic Toretti. Not after the way he treated me.
Where's Toretti come into this? Shelby, fine. Toretti's
treated me like dog shit ever since I was with Brett. He's always treated me like dog shit.
That's it? What's he done?
Constantly ignored me, made me wait for hours and hours and hours, constantly tell me he'll get back to me the next day, the next day, the next day. Never did. Just treated me like a fucking idiot.
Was it intentionally done?
Yes, it was.
Do you know that for a fact? Or are you
yes, I do.
No. I'm not going to argue that because at the end of the day, having been high command, right? And just today alone, right? Like dealing with Richard and trying to get Richard here, I understand it wasn't intentional. But when you're on the receiving end of someone intentionally shoving you aside, it is very noticeable. And I'm not going to sit here and doubt Nova's ability to determine that, especially this is over a long period of time. I'm not gonna doubt that. You know, I have been on the receiving end of Toretti not exactly being my biggest fan. Trust me, I understand. But I don't know. Again, I think you have some very valid points. I think
I don't expect anyone here to be happy with me and what I do. I don't expect it. I don't expect you guys to go and be over the moon and rejoice. I don't want it. Like, I'm just telling you how it is. I've tried ever since I left. I tried, and even before, even before the threats to stab thingy, Toretti and Shelby, you know, the whole conversation was still being talked about rather than talked to.
Wait, which conversations?
Which conversations were?
That you were referring to, or you were being talked about instead of talked to?
Well, I mean, it's just evident with the way Bass, you know, speaks to my wife about how I left, about how many other people approached Johnny.
Well, I
couple,
mean,
but it's been a little bit.
That's because she's there. You know, she's easily accessible because, I mean, you know how Bass is. It's out of sight, out of mind. But, you know, if you get in his, you know, if you're there in front of him, then he'll be like, oh, hey, let me ask.
Oh, he's seen me multiple times.
Let me ask Nova's wife how she's doing. Why, you know, things. I mean.
Doesn't help that his speech is shit.
Yeah, true. Everybody.
I mean, he's seen me on multiple days. I've seen Bass on multiple days.
And
so did you approach him?
Why would I?
Okay, so this is.
Well, no, I agree with Nova here because if Bass was able to approach her but not Nova, I think that's problematic. I think it would be unfair to say, well, then you should have gone up to him if Bass is unwilling. Like, if Bass wanted to know information about Nova, then Bass should reach out to Nova, much like I did. I've had conversations with Nova. Now, if it was an availability issue, and I say that because I am someone who rarely ever speaks to Bass, and I can count on 2 fingers the amount of times I've spoken to him since I've become a trooper. The last one was a couple weeks ago when he sold me my charger, and the time before that was when he invited me to become a trooper. That is it. I don't hold that against him. But
better cause some spice.
You know,
I will add here.
Information. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll be honest. The next time I saw Alex, I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna ask Alex about you, and ask Alex why you left, and ask Alex why you're doing the things you do. And that's because oftentimes when you have somebody who doesn't seem like they're in the right frame of mind, then you ask their loved ones. Because what you're doing, Nova, does not seem like Nova things to do. I do not understand how you can go from being somebody who puts people behind bars each and every day to wanting to stab people. That is not a common occurrence for normal people in a normal, healthy state of mind.
You're right, it's probably not. You're right. It's probably not. But at the end of the day, I was very passionate about my job. I was very fucking into my job, and I was committed to my job to the fullest. Don't think anybody can argue that.
Okay. It doesn't excuse violence.
I don't care whether it excuses violence or not. The point is, have I done anything, or have I just said word?
Have you done anything?
I mean, criminal threats are a thing, so I mean.
No. Have you done anything?
Arrested me. What do you mean, have I done anything? Do you think I've done something?
Since leaving the PD, have you done anything criminal?
Have you? Have you
Never
seen me do anything?
You know.
I think it's a pretty easy question to answer.
It is an easy question to answer, but why would I answer it?
I think that
what do you
know?
Not
answering tells us everything we need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's Forehead?
So what have I done? Forehead's fine.
You're working together well. The business partnership going well.
I speak to Forehead.
Listen, I'll be honest. I don't really think I'm speaking. I'm a bit confused whether I'm speaking to Leonova or whether I'm speaking to Jesse. I'll be honest, I think you're becoming the exact kind of person your dad wants you to be, Nova, and I'm really fucking disappointed. And all you're going to do carrying on down this path is disappoint people and burn bridges and lose friends. and you're gonna drag Alex down with you.
I don't think she's gonna get dragged down.
I think you really just take a think about what you actually want to do and the people you care about, and whether it's worth stabbing people over some money.
Well, that right there pretty much sums it up.
Bit of spice.
Come on, honey.
I think Matt's probably... No.
We're done. We're done. Thank you for the food. Come on, Chaos. Come on, honey.
It's gonna be an awkward ride home.
For what it's worth, I don't think you were wrong.
I'm sorry if I spoke out of turn, but I just don't. I don't get how she can just jump from enforcing the law to stabbing people because she's mad about money.
Well, I'm not gonna excuse her actions, okay? And while criminal threats is a crime, it's obviously not as severe as actually stabbing the person. And I'm not, you know, I'm my job here is not to be, you know, a Nova sympathizer, okay? It's not.
No, I know.
But at the same time, when you can look at someone and acknowledge that just the way they argue or attempt to argue logically is so flawed, and that's not Nova at all. Richard, I don't think you're wrong at all. And the unfortunate reality here is, listen, I don't sit here and, oh my God. If I say what I'm about to say, I'm just going to get categorized with everyone else.
You know, she used to warn me to stay away from her because underneath everything, she was a monster.
Then how was that monster so good for so long?
Because she had focus. She had purpose.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to direct all of that
outside of the PD. Maybe not in the same capacity, right? For example, if you have a high energy dog, right? What you need to do to keep that dog well maintained is far different than if you have this tiny little chihuahua, right? You don't have to sit there and spend an hour walking it every day.
Yep.
And Nova is that dog with high energy being left in a 2x2 room with no opportunity to release that energy, and is instead going to focus on destroying shit rather than being productive. That's the unfortunate reality. And here's the thing. I don't blame Nova, because when Nova left the PD, that was Nova to me. I don't care what anyone says, that was Nova. And Nova was just broken inside on the basis that shit was happening. She was being judged for shit out of her control. And the ultimate reality is that she felt that regardless of what she did, people were going to talk behind her back. People were going to continuously, again, talk about her rather than to her about any of the issues that they had. And as a result, I now think that that is no longer Nova. Because there's no way that Nova can sit there, look me in the eye, and argue logically that
I'm here, guys. Don't worry.
Nobody can judge someone else based on the people they hang around with. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Nova did that on a daily basis with gangs.
Yes. Exactly.
And here's the thing. I don't think Carlson would ever do anything bad. Okay? I don't. But when you love someone and times get tough
Yep.
The reality is I don't know what anyone would do.
Yeah.
I'm not close enough with anyone to know that information.